1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 8.
Hey everybody, my name's George and I'm a film teacher here at Fallbrook High School. Today in your English classes, we're looking at the California Learning Standard W9. Well, let's take a look to see what it has to say.
Write arguments to support claims in an analysis of substantive topics or texts using valid reasoning and relevant and sufficient evidence.
A lot of you have opinions. Should we have a dress code at school? Should we work on Fridays? Should school start in September?
All of these are examples of substantive topics. It means it's a topic that's important and meaningful to you.
So, these opinions that you guys have, I recently asked the students in my class to tell me the reasons why they think we should not do any work on Fridays. Here are a couple of things that they had to say.
Actually, these are all pretty good. Let's rephrase them a bit so you sound more professional. And we would call these valid reasons, meaning you have a good point.
Unfortunately, that's where a lot of you stop when it comes to writing persuasively.
As we mentioned in an earlier video, you persuade your reader by using evidence, reasoning, and rhetoric.
This video is not going to focus on rhetoric. Instead, we're going to look more at evidence and reasoning.
If you remember our past video on evidence and reasoning, you will recall you can create a logos-based argument by using data-driven evidence from research and studies.
Or you can make an ethos-based argument by citing an authority figure your reader respects that tells you what they think about the topic.
Here are 3 pieces of evidence on the topic of working on Fridays. Take a moment to review them.
So your evidence needs to be sufficient. That means the evidence did a good job proving the point that you were trying to make. So one of the pieces of evidence we shared is not sufficient. Which one is it?
If you selected the tweet from Miss Jones, you are correct.
The reason it isn't sufficient is because she's not an authority on student stress. She's nobody we really know, and therefore her opinion doesn't really matter.
But the Curry School of Education is known and respected. It's not a kid in school. It's a whole organization dedicated to making education better. Therefore, what they say has more authority. So choice 2 is sufficient.
So choice 1 has evidence to back up their study, and when you think about it, Microsoft is a well-known company and we tend to trust the job that they do collectively. Therefore, we trust them more to give us good research data. Therefore, the evidence from choice 1 is what we would call sufficient.
Now let's back up one of those valid reasons with sufficient evidence. But wait.
Your evidence can't just be sufficient. It also has to be relevant.
That means your evidence must logically connect to a claim that you're making.
For instance, here's a short paragraph with a valid reason and substantial evidence. But the evidence is not relevant. Can you explain why?
I mean, boy, that sounded really smart. And hey, kudos to you, great transitions. But it was not a good argument. Can you tell me why?
You should have said something like this. The evidence proving that teachers don't really look closely at homework does not prove the claim that students need more time to recharge.
To close, here's a sample paragraph that's missing evidence. Go back to our evidence choices and rewrite the paragraph with the correct evidence entered into the paragraph.
There really was only one piece of evidence that was relevant to that argument. Here's an example of how that evidence would look in an updated paragraph.
How did you do? Are you finding it easier to connect valid reasons to sufficient and relevant evidence?
Okay, get ready this week to write. See you soon.